The 47th law of power. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. This is a tremendous rule, and this is something that I think oftentimes isn't considered because we always visualize the mountaintop. We always visualize in getting a certain level of success, but we oftentimes don't really know what to do when we get there. And when we get there, you usually are like, oh, I got here. Why don't I keep going? Why don't I keep pushing? Why don't I keep doing this? Why don't I go to the next thing? And sometimes you need to know your limits. Sometimes you need to know when to stop. Sometimes you need to know when you're pushing your luck and you might just get your way into disaster. I made a video the other day. I think it was the laws of human nature, but it was basically a similar point. But I want you to understand, there are great men throughout history who didn't know when to stop, and because they didn't know to stop, they suffered for it. Like Napoleon. Napoleon should have never went into Russia. Once he started trying to invade Russia, he basically signed his death warrant. He basically signed his last conquest because the Russian troops he was just not prepared to deal with. And it's the same thing with Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great's another example. I know I used that example in the other video, but it's just too perfect. Like Alexander the Great basically conquered the entire known world, and he still wanted more. And because he still wanted more, he was assassinated by his troops. Same thing with Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was probably the greatest general in Roman history. You know, conquered Pompey. I don't know how to say it. Pompey in the Civil War. He crosses the Rubicon. You know, he comes back to Rome, and then he's the temporary dictator. And he's the temporary dictator, but instead of giving the power back to the Senate, he wanted to keep it for himself. He basically founded the Roman Empire, but because he wanted more glory, because the fame and notoriety and power wasn't enough for him at the time, he suffered. The Ides of March happened. Like, we have that Shakespeare play that says "Et tu, Brute," and it's just, you need to start considering this, because this is something that I feel like I'm going to have to face very, very, very soon, because I feel like this channel is just hitting its stride. I feel like every day I get better on camera, every day I get better articulating my ideas, and every day more and more people are tuning into this channel. And I need to know when to stop. I need to know when to push my luck. I need to know when to hedge my bets. Like, there's gonna be a day and age where it actually hurts the channel for me to bring videos every single day. It actually hurts my influence to be so presentable, be so, you know, rigid, be so approachable, like be so easy to contact. Like, it's going to get rid of that air of mystique. It's going to start doing things like, I have a million business ideas right now. Like, if I try to push a million business ideas, it might come off as, oh my God, this guy's just a shill. Oh my God, this guy is just pushing products. He doesn't really mean anything he says. He doesn't mean this, he doesn't mean that. Like, I might have to only focus on one thing that becomes successful, and then I just ride that out. And it's like, we need to know these things, and we need to really consider these principles, because it's oftentimes the challenges that we don't prepare for that hit us the hardest. Like, think, if you don't plan for something, if you don't see it and it just comes up spur of the moment, you're going to react emotionally. And the emotional response is always the worst one. The emotional reaction is always the worst one. The planned out problem, the thing that you have thought about at least a little bit, will always be able to be solved much simpler than the thing that you've never even considered, and the thing you've never even thought of. And it's more and more likely each and every day that you are going to have to face this thing, because let's face it, like, if you're watching videos like this, you are going to be more successful than most people. You are doing things that most people are not willing to do. Most people want to just open up TikTok. Most people just want to open up Instagram or YouTube, or, I mean, you are on YouTube. That was a bad example. Netflix, and watch movies and watch nonsense content and all this other stuff. So you're going to be more successful, and you need to consider these things. You need to know when to stop. You need to know that a victory and then just a brash movement ahead might be your absolute downfall. It might be the downfall of the entire progress that you've made, and you need to know when to hedge your bets. You need to know when to take that victory and then take a step back and then let that fester and then come up with a new plan, come up with a better plan. And it's all about the give and take, because there's no such thing as forward movement without resistance. You might break through a little bit, but it's not going to be smooth sailing from then on. It's always going to be the next challenge and then the next challenge. But if you get that first success, if you get that first victory, you push through, and then you just keep driving ahead as hard and as fast as you can, like, it's going to end up hurting you in the long run, because eventually you're going to run into something that you weren't prepared for, that you didn't predict, that you didn't assume was going to happen, and because of that, you're going to not deal with it in the proper way, and you're not going to deal with it in the proper fashion. I can't say it enough. I'm almost through with every single law of power. I think maybe I've missed a few. I'm gonna have to go back and check. I'm going to have it. Shit. There's like beans or something stuck in my throat. Like it's weird. I just ate like bean soup and it's like killing me right now. But I need to cut this out, but I'm not going to. But anyway, this book is tremendous. I love it so much. I'm gonna have an editor put all the videos together, and hopefully that video comes together really well, because I think it will be super good for the channel. I think it'll be super interesting to just have one long flowing video of just every single law. But you have that to look forward to. I will leave a link to this book in the description. If you're still here in the video after me coughing for 30 seconds, like, please consider joining my Discord. I'm trying to get them more active. I'm trying to spread knowledge. I'm trying to get other people sharing the books they're reading, sharing the ideas they're having, and overall just driving in a forward direction, overall just driving in a positive direction, because that's what we need in this world. Like, we need the positivity around us. There's too much negativity. We seem to fixate on that. We seem to fixate on everything around us. So let's create the surroundings to be a positive one. So thank you guys so much for being this far. I will catch you next one. Peace out.